Today, we explore how organizations and ecosystems turn bold workforce ideas into durable systems of trust, mobility, and leadership.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name's Nuwan. I'm the COO and EVP of Workforce Systems at P33. It's great to be here with everyone. For Jarquetta, myself, and Omowale, it's our second year being here. And so, for those of you who were here last year, you may have heard about Xchange Chicago. And so, just for context, what is Xchange Chicago? Xchange Chicago is our onshore IT delivery center on the south side of Chicago that was born through this recognition that IT spend might have as much, if not more, potential for apprenticeship as IT headcount. And so, how do you tap into the spend of IT from organizations in Chicago that often goes overseas? And how do you try to bring some of that $16 billion back to Chicago? And that's kind of the central premise of what Xchange is. I'm joined today by Caitlyn Brazill from Scholas, Jarquetta Egeston, who is the managing director of Xchange, and Omowale Casselle, who is the VP of Xchange at SDI Presence. So really quickly on the model of Xchange, very simply, you have a buyer, let's call it a corporation in Chicago. You have a vendor like SDI Presence, who Omowale represents, and they deliver services to the buyer. The question is can those dollars that are being spent create more opportunities for apprentices to get onto those projects and deliver services? Those apprentices are trained in Greater Grand Crossing on the south side of Chicago at Xchange, where Jarquetta oversees a lot of them, and manages those apprentices and learners through the process. And then they go into SDI Presence, where they are then assigned to different projects in SDI Presence Brazill. Over the last year and a half since we got going, I believe we're now up to 100 learners trained and about 90 learners placed into jobs paying at least $51,000 plus benefits on the day they start, with some being converted to full-time positions that pay between $80,000 and $100,000 plus benefits. So we've seen success. We're going to share a little bit more about the good and the bad of that model. Working with Pascolas, we're kind of thinking through how do we do more, given what Pascolas is up to, how do we do more together? And so I'm going to dive into some questions real quick. So, Omowale, just first of all, can you share a little bit more since last year when we were here about some of the successes of Xchange, including the building, which I think is a pretty catalytic moment for the community, and some of the obstacles and challenges that you have faced as a business who is deeply committed to apprentices?
Nuwan. I would say that early or late last year in Q4, we opened a 28,000 square foot onshore IT delivery center in the south side of Chicago. And when you sort of think about where IT work is normally done, it's not typically done on the south side of Chicago. And so we are partnering with clients like Northern Trust and Aon and Wisconsin Energy Corporation to really deliver projects. And so I would say that that was a pretty special moment, especially when you sort of think about the build out that we did. It's a Class A Tier 1 office space that allows us to both train on site as well as have project delivery locally, which I think is a really, really special moment for that community, given sort of like the proximity to a lot of the other things that are going on, but also just creating an economic engine within the community. From a challenges perspective, I would say that that intersects sort of perfectly with like the sort of mass adoption of AI and sort of like technology disruption. And so as we are trying to get emerging talent into organizations to do really important work, you have sort of like a broad macro event where people are like, what about this AI thing? Like, do I really want to continue to invest in emerging talent? And so I would say that on the positive side, we've really figured out how to better establish demand and connectivity with our clients, but we're also sort of fighting against like that macro environment where technology disruption is sort of right in front of us. And how do we continue to deliver those services while still being true to the mission of creating economic opportunity for that talent?
Thank you. Jarquetta, you're on the ground in Grand Crossing every day. You know our learners at Xchange better than anyone. When we started Xchange, I remember some of the comments I would hear from employers, from other folks to say, well, what is the talent pool like in Grand Crossing? Like, is the talent there, right? Like, a little bit of skepticism. I think we have proven that the learners in Grand Crossing are exceptional in the surrounding communities. You know them better than anyone. Can you share a little bit with the audience about what about the learners in terms of them thriving has maybe surprised you or might surprise the audience? And then what are some of the obstacles and challenges we've seen that maybe the audience wouldn't recognize and where they might be able to help support?
I'd love to share. So Greater Grand Crossing has about 25,000 folks who are over the age of 18, but underemployed. What we find with Xchange is that over 700 people have expressed interest in being a part of a tech apprenticeship program. The great majority of those folks have done some self-guided learning. As we look at trends for career obtainment, young people generally are also looking at those trends. And we know that tech, is the game of now and the future. And so, believe it or not, a lot of people, young, not so young, are doing a lot of self-guided learning and desire to be in tech. I would say 60+% of those who express interest in apprenticeship have degrees or some level of higher education. And they are coming to us because beyond what they are learning, either through self-guided work or formally in classrooms, they know that they need to be a part of a network that helps them to get a foot in the door. We see people who have master's degrees and doctoral degrees who just don't know how to gain a career in tech who are coming to us. So that's something that was really shocking to me is the percent of people who have higher degrees, who obtain some form of higher education, who just want a chance. Something that has been really true of the space that we opened again in Q4 of last year is that it makes it concrete that you can do tech work and come from communities that are underrepresented in that space. So we have made the possibility for folks to enter tech real on the South Side. We've also brought projects to the South Side so that people can be employed in their community and we can remove some of those life logistical barriers that prevent people from engaging in careers in spaces like tech. The commute rate from Greater Grand Crossing to work is the highest of any community in the city of Chicago. And so we are removing some of those hurdles that people face when trying to enter career spaces. And we are also helping to shore up their experience in the in the corporate environment. When you have not experienced a corporate environment, it can be very nebulous and possibly scary for folks to really get a sense of what it means to go corporate. A lot of our learners come from gig backgrounds where they've had, hourly jobs, and we are helping to acculturate them right there on the South Side in a space that they feel really safe in and can get to with ease.
Thank you. So, sounds like underemployment, I think, profound underemployment in certain respects is something that has surprised us. And also, one thing about the building that I think is great is just because we have the building, we have SDI presence, having a presence, no pun intended, in Grand Crossing, the learners come together 5 days a week to learn. So we don't kind of leave them on their own. We kind of create that support for them. Caitlyn, so you're the president of a large national organization, one of the largest in workforce development. You've seen a lot across the country. The world is changing fast. It means that workforce providers have to change fast too. We're obviously talking to you guys about how we do more together because we love your model. Can you share a little bit about kind of how Scholas is evolving given what we're seeing in the market and how you guys think about what's coming next?
Yeah, thanks, Nuwan. And, let me just say, we're so incredibly excited about what you've brought together at the Xchange. And I think the ability to both see the work happening in real time, how impact sourcing can make a difference, and how you can take that tech spend and turn it into career pathways is something that is truly remarkable here in Chicago, but is actually something that we are seeing in places around the country. And I think that there may be a moment now with, one of the outgrowths of our new AI economy may actually create more opportunity there for reshoring rather than less. Scholas operates across the country. Last year, we helped 4,000 people launch new careers. And so we work with about 800 businesses, from small to mid-sized firms to governments to nonprofits to hospitals to Fortune 500 companies. And I think what we can see that really makes a difference is the difference between being a co-designer of talent pathways and being someone who sits back and fishes out of a pond, gets entirely different results. And so partnering with talent development organizations like Upper Scholas, like other local organizations, allows for something that's much more agile, responsive, and outcome driven. So agile for me means things like dialing up those skills that are in highest demand, dialing down in response to changes in talent needs at a local level, at a national level. It also means listening to employers about how the work is changing and replicating in the classroom what that work experience looks like. So for us, that means that every single learner at Scholas from day one is interacting with AI tools, has a learner bot that is with them across their entire experience, that they are building, that they are developing, they're designing, they're working with AI coworkers, regardless of their training track, because that is what we are understanding from our employers is simulating the workplace that they will be moving into. And it is listening to employers and designing with their today's workforce needs in mind that makes such a difference. I think the other difference is really the outcome focus. Jarquetta, what you were saying about the challenge of folks who have so many different pathways coming into Grand Crossing because they haven't been able to get to the place where they're trying to go. We see that every day. I'm thinking about a young woman, Marie Carey, who grew up in an immigrant family. Her family ran a deli. She went to college, but she found that she couldn't persist because working 2 jobs and going to school full time was just not physically sustainable for her over 4 years. When she left college, came to Scholas, she did our software development course. We were able to help her land in an apprenticeship at Bank of America. And not only did she thrive in that space, but that was far from her end point. She started, as soon as she started at Bank of America, she started developing mentors and sponsors, understanding how to navigate within a corporate environment that she had no experience in. When she got her first offer letter, she came to our financial coaches and said, "My parents have never had paid vacation before. I don't know what this is. I don't know how to negotiate." And that kind of support has helped her over the last 3 years. She's not only been able to actually finish that degree with tuition reimbursement paid for by Bank of America, but now she has organized an alumni network at Bank of America of other Scholas grads who come back and volunteer, giving both our staff and our learners the kinds of information that they need to create that same sort of thriving pathway that she has. So I think it's that kind of listening, not just to our employers, but to our alums and what they are doing every day to succeed, that helps reinforce that cycle.
You mentioned social capital, and you mentioned kind of the AI piece. But before I go into that, there you go. I was looking for that clock. There, last year there was a clock, and it's here. Okay. I think the social capital piece is huge. I think that's what we're hearing more and more. Like in this AI world, just, that's something you're investing in. That's something we're investing in at Xchange. The one thing that I heard a couple of weeks ago from about 15 Fortune 500 CIOs that we convene once a quarter to kind of just dig in on problem solving. They said we don't really want to hear you talk about software cohorts and cyber cohorts anymore. We want you to talk about AI Academy and AI business track and AI technical track. And we want to understand your social capital skills as well. And so that's kind of how we're pivoting our model and starting to think about it, because that's what corporations are starting to think about when they start to think about talent, how they process talent. So that's kind of part of the evolution of thing we all are going to be making. So we've got like 30 seconds left. I think we're supposed to end this on a give and an ask. I only have an ask. For anyone who wants to come and visit Xchange, please find one of us. We'd love to host you. We'd love to host big groups. We think once you see it, we've noticed that corporations, once they see it, they're hooked. They want to find a way. They'll push through the friction once they see it. So we'd love to have you come down, and we'd love to host you. Okay.
Okay, I'll do a give. That's really an ask. I think that one of the things that seems daunting, and a lot of the examples that we hear, in fact, I just reinforced this, right? I gave you an example of a massive Fortune 500 company and how they were able to create these career pathways. But I think, and even as I've been listening to this room over the last day, there is incredible opportunity for small to mid-sized firms who desperately need talent and hear this kind of complex talent development pathways as something that seems like they don't have the in-house capacity to invest. And so my gift to all of you is it's actually a lot easier than you think. Partnering with organizations that do the work for you of sourcing highly motivated, capable folks who can flex into a business AI role or a software developer role, that makes your job much easier. And so my ask is just to be open to partnership opportunities that extend beyond your own walls.
Good.
Bet on Chicago talent and come and visit Xchange, and I will give you my time.
Yeah.
I would say bring us your hard problems. So we're training technical problem solvers that have creativity, they have innovation, they have grit, they have perseverance. Don't give us the easy things, give us the hard things. Let us co-create solutions with you. Chicago is on the rise, and it's going to be on the rise because of the South and the West side of Chicago.
Thank you all.